It is Thursday night. Thursday night here on Facebook means 7 p.m. YSS. Let's talk live. Excited about this. Really excited about this because I've got my gear on. I don't know if y'all see this or not, but I got my AMP gear on. I got my AMP t-shirt on here. I am an AMP fan. Will be until the day I die. My name's Rusty Johnson, YSS Prevention Specialist. I've got some awesome, very special guests with me tonight. We have Taylor, who is our AMP statewide coordinator. Taylor, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Now we have T, which is an AMP alumni. And I just met you just right before the video. So T, welcome to you too. And then we also have Amara. Is it Amaris or Amara?
Amaris.
Amaris. See, I got it both wrong. Okay, so Amaris, welcome to you too. And I'm excited to talk to you about what just happened with AMP Day on the Hill. But before we get to all of that, I want to invite folks that are tuning in. We are live if you're tuning in here on February 4th, 7 p.m. We have a comment box. You can ask your make your comments, ask your questions. Please do that. You can also watch this video later at yss.org, and you can share this video as soon as it's done and it's live, because we've got a lot to get here. So Taylor, let me ask you this. For folks, when I was just talking about AMP and how excited I am, and I could talk about AMP all day long, but you are the statewide coordinator. Can you explain AMP, what it is, and what AMP does, what it stands for? Go for it.
Absolutely. So AMP stands for Achieving Maximum Potential. It is for youth who are in the system, have been in the system, age 13 to 23. That could be foster youth, adopted youth, in treatment and shelter and adjudication, anything of the sort. And we do life skills. We meet monthly. We meet statewide. We actually even meet nationally, which is really kind of cool. We do a lot of speaking events, a lot of public service, and then a whole lot of just fun activities. We do go to baseball games in the summer. We have a summer AMP camp. We visit colleges, anything in between. So,
wow. So you have actually, so it's a statewide organization, but you have different, could I call them chapters or?
We have different councils across Iowa, and there are 12 councils. Almost all of them are public, except for the Eldora State Training School. That is a private group. But within Iowa, we only have Iowa. Iowa is the national youth. Every state is required to have a foster youth council, and this requires it this meets Iowa's requirements.
Meets the requirements. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So then we collaborate with other states' councils.
That is so cool. So that's the national aspect that comes in. And me, like I say, Amaris and T, I think I disclosed right before the video, I'm a former foster youth, so I have a lot of passion here. Y'all inspire me so much, and to look to the future. And what you were just talking, Taylor, about that national aspect too, I find that so cool. So you get the opportunity to go national, but boy, there is a lot of work done right here in Iowa. So yeah, there's the national umbrella and maybe even international. I don't know, but boy, just here in Iowa, AMP has a name. You said Achieving Maximum Potential, but they have a name about some things that are accomplished. And one thing I know about AMP is every year they go to the Hill. They go to Capitol Hill here in Iowa, and they propose like a legislative agenda. And as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't that just happen?
Yes, last Monday. Yep, last Monday was our 10th day on the Hill.
The 10th day, so the 10th annual Hill. Yep. And Amaris, you were there, correct?
Virtually, yes.
Virtually, well, okay, virtually, yes. Virtually, not quite in person, but virtually you were there. And can you tell us just a little bit about, well, first off, before we go there, do you mind introducing yourself and telling us just a little bit about yourself and why you're a part of AMP and what it means?
Yeah, so hello, my name is Amaris Albers. I'm 20 years old and I've been with AMP since I was 15. Well, I started with AMP when I was 15 and my mom kind of made me do it. And so Taylor knows this story all too well. I didn't want to be a part of AMP at first and kind of just sat myself in the corner for the first few days and wouldn't talk to anybody and called my mom crying every night to make her take me home, and it didn't work. And I eventually just decided to stop being a party pooper and go out with everybody and enjoy it. And it was the best decision that I've ever made because I have a family that I got to choose and friends that I will have probably for the rest of my life.
Wow. And you were as I understand, a big part of this AMP day on the Hill that just happened virtually. I'll go there again. Yes, virtually that happened. And can you talk a little bit about what it was like, what happened?
So yeah, it's so different this year with everything being virtual. It's so much more fun to experience it in person. Everybody is so kind and actually takes the time to listen to you. And I know you growing up, you don't always, even if you're not in foster care, adults don't really listen to you. They think that they know better than you do because they've so many years of experience. But when we go to the Hill and we talk to these lawmakers, they actually take the time to listen to us. And that's a really cool experience.
So you were there. So you talked to lawmakers again virtually, and you put forth this and as I've read here to prep up on tonight, this legislative agenda, kind of from foster youth and foster youth alumni. Right up there, you can see it that you want to put forth about I assume things that you want to see accomplished, and this is kind of the youth voice. One thing that has just, lack of better words, royally impressed me about AMP is the momentum, the weight that AMP has behind you. I don't know, T and Amaris, if you guys know this, but you are respected throughout the entire nation. Foster youth alumni groups, empowerment groups look to AMP as like leaders because of everything that y'all have got accomplished. And I know, T, you've been a part of AMP for how long?
Since I was 14.
So since you were 14.
Yes, and I'm 23 now.
And you're okay. I wasn't going to ask that, but so you're 20. So you're 23 now, and so you have a lot of experience there too. And seeing some of the things that have been accomplished by this kind of AMP day on the Hill, like what we're talking about now, and those achievements we're working towards. Can you talk about any of the achievements that you know of that have been made by the Congress or whatnot because of AMP?
AMP has passed over 35 legislative items. For starters, our All Iowa Foster Youth Opportunity Grant, AMP did that. And that's a grant that you get when you go to college to help you pay for your tuition. Our sibling visitation bill, the Department of Human Services is mandated to place siblings together whenever possible, even if that means that they have to work harder than they previously would to place siblings in the same home. We've increased PAL and aftercare, just so many things. We've extended Title 19 to age 21. I think it's 26 now, but it's just
because of AMP, it moved forward to
Yes.
actually get extended. And if people don't know, when you're talking about extending, T, you're the expert. You can even talk about that. And Amaris, jump in here. But when we're talking about extending that, what does that mean to kids?
So for me, I have health care until I'm 26. I don't have to pay for that out of my pocket. And I have health issues that's very helpful for me. I have asthma, so I'm constantly sick, and I have medicine that I have to pay for. I have mental health issues that I go to therapy for, and it's all paid for. I don't have to pay out of my pocket, and that's amazing. And so I know that for sure I'm going to be taken care of healthcare wise until I'm 26.
So that's a big deal, especially, I mean, you just shared your personal story, but imagine all the other youth out there that too need that coverage. I mean, especially once you, and I'm going to use a big word, but be it you emancipate from care, or you age out of care. I mean, this is a huge lifeline. And Amaris, I know that you also obviously have experience with AMP. What have you seen accomplished, and what are you proud of?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. I think definitely our sibling, goodness, I cannot speak. Sibling placements being together. I have a biological brother, and in my family we have a group of siblings, 3 brothers, and I can't imagine not having all of us together in the same house, living together, and having to make phone calls, just to be able to talk to them, and trying to figure out time to be able to see them. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm proud of from AMP.
Yeah, and Amaris and T, that's got to make you feel good to be a part of an organization that actually affects change that much on like a law level. On a law level all throughout Iowa, and other places are watching Iowa too to affect their laws. So kudos to the both of you. So let's get to this 10th annual Day on the Hill that just happened. So Taylor, coming back to you. So I know I left you out there for a bit, but coming back to you. So talk to us a little bit about what the day was like. How did it roll out? What was it like? And what did you push forward with the legislative agenda this year?
Yeah, so we started way back in November with the Talking Wall, which is more than just AMP. Other organizations throughout Iowa also participate in this, but for AMP-based focus, we took our results of the Talking Wall, which was compiled of ideas that our youth across Iowa said, hey, I think this is an issue, or hey, I think we could better this. So we took all those ideas and then we made our agenda out of maybe the most frequent ideas of improvement. And so we have a legislative agenda that has 3 bullet points, and then it has an extra 3, hey, can you kind of give us your spotlight on these 2? So essentially we have 6 things on our agenda. We took this agenda to the Capitol, and it went to all the senators, all the House of Representatives, and then we did a recording, which also went virtually to all the senators, the House of Representatives, DHS, caseworkers, anything like that. So we try to spread the word as much as possible, just because the more people don't know, the better off we are. So a few of the things that are on here are the youth report a gap in transition skills. So when you turn 18 and not really having all the resources to become an adult that you maybe would have in a normal life, and that's okay. So we just want to have extra readiness to get an apartment, to get into college, etc. So that's one thing. An increase in foster care clothing allowance. Currently, it is $237.50. That's not a lot of money when you want to buy clothes for the whole year, if you want to buy shoes or jeans, anything like that. So we want to raise that allowance. And then our third one on there is backing Senator Herman Quernbach's bill. He is trying to make eligibility easier for kids to get the Last Dollar Scholarship, which is a scholarship for youth going to school. And there's a few gaps in there with age and working part-time or going to school for full-time. So we want to make that eligibility requirement maybe a little less strict, if you will, and a more accommodating when appropriate. And then a few other things. Youth in shelter and placement requests that they're able to have more frequent time with family or phone calls home to the people that are important to them. Yeah.
So, and Amaris and T, you just heard Taylor kind of talk about that legislative agenda that's coming up this year. Either one of you, I mean, free reign here. Do you want to chime in on any of the things that she just talked about and why those are important?
Personally, for me, I was in residential treatment before I aged out. I actually aged out of residential treatment. Spending time with my family and getting phone calls was my favorite time, but we only got so long. We had scheduled slots when we could be on the phone, like certain days. And that was hard. If I had a hard day at school, I wanted nothing more than to talk to my big sister and tell her about my day. And it was really hard when you had slots, like you only get so long on the phone. If I fell asleep before my phone call time, I didn't get a phone call. If I, like sometimes if I had a bad day, well, then you just cannot have your phone calls today, which isn't necessarily what they're supposed to do, but it happens. But it's super important. Family connections are everything when you don't get to see your family.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in right now, welcome to YSS Let's Talk. We are live here on February 4th. And thank you. I'm hoping to get to some questions and comments here shortly. We have two very special guests with us, T and Amaris, both foster youth alumni and AMP members, I guess you would say. And honored to be with both of you. We also have Taylor, who is our statewide coordinator of AMP. AMP stands for Achieving Maximum Potential. It's our foster youth alumni empowerment group all throughout Iowa. And ultimately, again, I tell you this, and I'm going to tell it to you again because I've worked throughout the nation. Y'all lead the nation. Again, I hope you know that you do with AMP. They lead the nation with foster youth alumni groups, empowerment groups, everything. So everybody's looking to you and so excited. We're talking about AMP Day on the Hill that just happened. And it was a virtual event, and they put forth a legislative agenda. And do I understand this right? That and Taylor, you can chime in on this, Amaris and T, that a lot of the stuff that you guys do put forward is actually adapted and taken in to actual legislation and law. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yep. And it's not always a bill. It could be a rule that's changed or something within DHS, but having the legal attention definitely helps. And if there's a bill that we can attach it to, or we can create one, etc., we try to, if a bill isn't the most appropriate way, we try to find another avenue to make the change.
Nice. And I also want to say here that for folks that are tuning in right now, if you want to go back and look at a year ago to see all of the accomplishments 2 years ago, you can go to yss.org and go to AMP. Check out all of the awesome achievements of AMP. It's all right there at www.yss.org. So Amaris, now you were there virtually again. I got to keep repeating that now. You were there virtually because it wasn't in person, and I get what you were saying. It's not the same when you're not there in person, but still, that's one thing I love about AMP is you're going to get things done, be it in person or be it virtually. You're going to get her done. And I understand too that you were featured on a video and that you were kind of highlighted. Do you mind talking a little bit about that? Was it a story about you, or why were you a focus?
So no, it was not a story about me. Thank goodness.
Okay.
I feel like that would have made me very uncomfortable. Um, so what I did was we take each of the things that we have in our legislative agenda and we do a little bit of research on it and we write up a speech to give. And normally we would give it at the Capitol, of course, and have news outlets and everything there and all of that fun stuff. But so it was the same thing. It was just recorded and we sent it in, and Taylor and her team made a video and posted it. So yeah, so there was a couple other youth in the video too, and we each just talked about a different thing that really related to us the most.
Wow. And folks can watch this video again, I believe, by going to yss.org and going to the AMP page. And you can you throw that video back up there again, Matt? And if I say Matt and nobody knows who I'm talking about, he's our wizard behind the curtain who runs all of this for us. Absolutely awesome. So right there, you can go there. You can watch these videos. You can see pictures. You can share all of this and get the word out there. If you know somebody who you think would be great to be a part of AMP, T, and before I ask my next question, T and Amaris, what are your words of encouragement for folks to get a part of AMP or to jump on board?
I can go first. I would just say give it a try. If you're a youth in foster care and you feel alone, you feel like you're the only one, advocate to go to an AMP council meeting. Right now they're all virtual. Tune into one. It's not the same as when we're in person, but eventually we'll be in person again. Give it a try. It really saved me. It was my favorite thing. It was where all of my support came from. It's more than just a group of foster youth. Like Amaris said earlier, it's a family I got to choose. And not everybody wants to choose a family. They want their family, and that's fine. But let us be there. Let us support you. Let us help you achieve your dreams and grow your voice. Because often we are the voice for those youth that come after us, that are younger than us. It's just an amazing opportunity, give it a try.
Yeah, give it a shot. Amaris, anything you want to add there to youth that might be tuning in, listening, and thinking about this?
Well, I don't feel like I can say much more than T already said.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not going to regret it, even if you decide that in the end it's not something that's for you. You're still going to get so much out of the experience. You're going to learn so much, even if you just go to one meeting. You're going to make friends that, like I've made friends that I would have at my wedding in the future. So, and I can't say that for people that I went to high school with. I can't say that for people I grew up with, but these are the people that are going to understand what you're going through, are going to not judge you like other people do.
Awesome. And so if you're tuning in right now, again, you want to know more about this, check out AMP, Achieving Maximum Potential. And you can go to yss.org to check that out. There's chapters all throughout the state. And Taylor, how do people, if be it an adult and they're thinking they know a youth that might be a part or want to be a part of this, or maybe a good youth, or maybe it's a youth that is seeing this and they're like, you know what, I want to give it a shot. I want to give it a try. How do they go about that?
Absolutely. We have social media. We are AMP Iowa. We have a website. We are ampiowa.com. If you go on there, you can say, I think it's AMP near you or something about locations. It will tell you a facilitator. It will give you an email and a phone number for that facilitator, and you can contact them and say, when are your meetings? Where are you meeting? Or you can just ask, what are the meetings? Can we just meet one-on-one? We're always willing to do that. If you have any other questions or you can't find a facilitator or you're not near a council, you can always contact myself. Myself or any one of the others on the AMP team are always happy to collaborate and find a way to get you active.
And you said also that, I mean, we were talking about AMP Day on the Hill, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on all throughout the year. And I know I'm excited about this. I'm a guest speaker this month for a conference that's happening. And I think it's in a couple of weeks. And so there's annual conferences that happen where you have guest speakers and different folks come in. What was some of the other things, Taylor, that you talked about throughout the year that happened?
Yep. One of our big things is we have a week-long summer camp. That's really cool. We have weekend, we call them mini camps. So we have 5 mini camps, 5 mini conferences a year. Usually COVID's kind of put a damper on that, but we're making do. So we usually have 5 mini conferences, which is more educational based. We'll go to a college, we'll go to the science center, we'll go something more on the educational professional bounds. And then we have 5 mini camps, which could be a baseball game, a holiday party, anything fun. We like to have a little bit of a balance of everything, so we're not just straight and narrow on one path. We have right now we have a lot of things virtual. So we have a monthly call with anyone in the state. Any AMP kid can get on. It's not structured. It's just, hey, what's up? How are you? Let's check in. AMP Day on the Hill. Yeah, there's things that pop up randomly, or there's always something going on.
Well, and always something going on. And I can guarantee you that because this is one thing. I mean, I know AMP also helps out with some Reggie's Sleep Out, and that's a big thing that I know people know all throughout the entire state. I mean, AMP helps out with so much. And again, I really encourage folks out there to listen to T, listen to Amaris, and get a part of AMP one way or another, even just a volunteer. So there you see right there, www.weare, I'm trying to read it myself here. So weareampiowa.com. You can go there. So also Terry Bailey here on comments says that every Monday in February, there is a virtual conference 6 to 7 p.m. Is that right, Taylor? Is that right, Amaris T?
Yep. Every Monday. We'll have guest speakers, prizes. I think what was this week? This week we had George Blitzos, which was really cool. He told the story of YSS and how we came about and his journey along with AMP. Like Rusty said, he's going to be a guest speaker. So we'll have different people every week, every Monday, 6 to 7:30.
Now wait, and T and Amaris, are you going to be tuning in to my little virtual guest speech?
Absolutely. Of course.
Good answer. So I'm excited to do it. I'm really honored and excited to do it. Also, I want to highlight something Ruth says, which is go through a YSS volunteer program to work with AMP. And boy, like I say, there's so many different places that you can volunteer and be a part of AMP. Even community members. I mean, and Amaris and T, you guys are the experts here. Jump in. How else could people be a part of AMP? Even if they're not a foster youth alumni.
We have had multiple volunteers. I mean, even when we go do volunteer work, those people are giving us an opportunity. They're working with us. Maybe you have something you need youth for, or you want youth for. Like Ruth said, going through YSS volunteer program is the easiest way.
So, and then we have a question from Terrence here too, that actually asks, are there any volunteer internship positions available to get more involved in AMP? So Taylor, I'm going to pass that one off to you.
I would say it depends where you're located. We have different activities around, like different times. It would just kind of depend where you are, what you're thinking, and I would say the best answer is to just get in contact with myself or someone else involved in AMP, and we will see what the situation is to navigate that. But we don't necessarily have any positions, but I can't say we'll turn down volunteers.
That's right. And you saw right up there on the screen, that is the place to go to. If you want to volunteer, and I guarantee you, if you want to volunteer and you can help out, ooh, oh gosh, here I go. I'm going to do it again. It takes a village. It does. If anybody watches YSS Let's Talk, they'll find out that every single week I say that, but it does. It takes a village. And it takes a village to rally around and really ultimately get this done. I got to give T and Amaris some props here from a comment that I see from Jackie Mott. T and Amaris, so impressive that you are willing to share your story and willing to really make a difference. And again, kudos to you both, because that's exactly what you're doing, and so much more to come out of this. So yeah, absolutely. So any if folks are watching this, anything else that you want to leave with people about AMP, about getting involved, about becoming a part of all of this action that's happening legislatively?
To answer the question on how can you support your legislative agenda for just anyone,
I didn't see that.
it's posted on social media. It is on our internet pages. If you can share it. The more people that see it, the more power we have. So share it, talk about it. If you have questions, ask. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask. We would be happy to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. So, and again, I want to ask before we close out, T and Amaris, anything you want to share with folks that might watch this video, or again, words of encouragement?
There's so many things that I could say. But something that just in AMP in general that we talk about all the time is finding good foster homes for teenagers. That's super important to me, especially because when I went into foster care, I was a teenager. And so some people are scared to take teenagers when they decide they want to do foster care. Take a chance. There's lots of youth. Well, all youth are worth it, really. But I say take a chance on a teenager.
Nice. Absolutely. So, well, we have Amaris with us, and we have T, and we have Taylor. Very special guests tonight, and I want to say thank you to all of you for being a part of course, YSS Let's Talk, but more than that, being a part of something that's so influential throughout the entire state of Iowa, throughout the entire nation. And I truly do hope the impact, or about the impact that happens and what you do. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And again, if you want to know more about how to become involved, go to yss.org, click the AMP tab there, and figure out a way that you can get involved and do about what Amaris and T and Taylor's talked about tonight. So again, thank you all so much. And T, Amara, Taylor, thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, well, again, every single Thursday night, 7 p.m., we are here at 7 p.m. again. Excuse me. I'm choking up here at YSS Let's Talk. You can view these videos by going to www.yss.org. Share the videos. That's the biggest thing that you can do. And next week, I'm excited to talk. We're going to be talking with a good friend of mine, Jerry Durner, which is our YSS IHY program coordinator. And she's going to be talking to us about our integrated health system. So please tune in for that. And again, if you don't mind, put the word out there that this is coming up next Thursday night at 7 p.m. And until then, again, I want to say a huge shout out to Amaris T and Taylor. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this.